FBI goes into total meltdown after Trump discovers hidden messages. This is Total Treason by Cat Stevens for freedomdaily.com. President Trump has promised to drain the swamp, and even though the left takes extreme offense to that analogy, the more things we learn about what has gone on in the White House while Obama was in office, the more fitting that word picture becomes. The exchange of power between the Obama administration and the Trump administration was more than just people moving out of offices and new people taking their place. Obama had 8 years to put his people all over Washington, not just the White House. So even though the new administration has been in office for a little over a year now, it's far from a slam dunk when it comes to having friendly faces all around. Everywhere, from the Justice Department all the way down to the aides shuffling paperwork, there are still holdouts whose loyalty is to Obama. Those holdouts mean that even though the president and both houses of Congress are Republican, there are still enough Democrats around who are willing to risk their jobs for the greater good that the wheels of justice are constantly being bogged down. Case in point, the congressional probe into the FBI and its dealings of the Russia collusion case. Even though it was mandated that the FBI turn over certain documents and communications in turn, it turns out that they've decided in their own wisdom to hide some of it. They didn't do a great job, though, because the file that should have held months of text messages between a disgraced FBI agent and his lover, who also worked for the FBI, was completely empty. Western journalism reports that when those text messages are recovered, then we could all see why they tried to hide it. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page are in the spotlight for their text messages again. This time, a newly released trove of messages released that the agent who led the FBI probe into Hillary Clinton's emails and the bureau lawyer, who was also the agent's mistress, both felt they knew the outcome of the email investigation before Clinton had even been interviewed. According to Fox News, an exchange from July 1st, 2016 revealed that days after it was discovered that then Attorney General Loretta Lynch had a meeting with Bill Clinton on the Phoenix airport tarmac, Lynch knew there would be no charges filed in the investigation. The exchange came after Lynch said she would accept the findings of the FBI in that matter. Timing looks like hell, Strzok said in a text to Page. Yeah, that is an awful thing, Page said. It's a real profile in courage, since she knows no charges will be brought. The texts were among 384 pages of messages from Strzok and Page that were turned over to the Senate Homeland Security Committee. However, FBI officials notified committee chairman Senator Rob Johnson of Wisconsin the texts between December 14, 2016 and May 17, 2017 were lost by the Bureau. The department wants to bring to your attention that the FBI's technical system for retaining text messages sent and received on mobile devices failed to preserve text messages for Mr. Strzok and Mr. Page. That little story leaves us with only a couple of explanations. This would be that the FBI is grossly incompetent and literally lost months' worth of evidence in an ongoing investigation. Maybe that's the one we should hope for. Second is that they're stupid enough to think that Congress would believe that lie. And the third, and sadly most probably given their history, would be that they're corrupt enough to just try to hold on to them long enough to get the outcome they want. None of those options inspire confidence. In fact, they support the president's wish to get rid of a lot of Obama's holdouts. Stephen Boyd, Assistant Attorney General for Legislative Affairs at the Justice Department, said in a letter to Johnson. Boyd blamed misconfiguration issues related to rollouts, provisions, and software upgrades that conflicted with the FBI's collection capabilities, according to the Daily Caller. The result was that the data that should have been automatically collected and retained for long-term storage and retrieval was not collected. However, the dates are significant. In May 17, was the day Robert Mueller was appointed as special counsel, and the period also covers the Trump transition, including when the president-elect was informed of the existence of the controversial Trump dossier. The loss of records from this period is concerning Johnson, a Republican said in a letter sent Saturday to FBI Director Christopher Wray. Strzok's text messages with Page have come under increasing scrutiny ever since it became clear they contain more than just epithets directed towards the man who would become president. In one somewhat cryptic tweet, Strzok said the FBI should have an insurance policy against a Trump win. I want to believe the path you threw out. They talk about Andy McCabe. Okay, we know about that. That insurance policy has become one of the focuses of the Republican investigation into whether or not there was any untoward behavior on Strzok's part, you think? Now, however, it would take a back seat to the alleged fact. The top investigator on Hillary's case knew the outcome before she was interviewed. We might not ever get a straight answer as to why these messages were withheld. But one thing is for sure, if the goal was to take attention off of them, it was wildly unsuccessful. Just like this story right here, because this is nothing new.
But that's what the evidence is showing us. Newly released text messages sent between agents Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, who were dating one another, suggested the Bureau felt, quote, pressure to wrap up that investigation and exonerate Hillary Clinton even before they had interviewed her. We could learn more, but the FBI says it has lost thousands of messages, text messages, sent between Strzok and Page. Republican Senator Ron Johnson represents Wisconsin. He chairs the Homeland Security Committee. It's one of the reasons we know any of this in the first place, and he joins us tonight. Senator, thanks for coming on.
Hello, Tucker.
So you remember, of course, when the Attorney General Loretta Lynch said that she would accept whatever the FBI's recommendation was in the Hillary Clinton investigation. Now it looks from these texts that she'd already decided to exonerate Hillary Clinton.
Well, she already knew that Comey was going to recommend exoneration.
So how is that? I mean, that strikes me as the definition of corruption. Am I missing something?
No, not at all. You know, what's making a lot of news is the 5 months of missing text messages,
yes,
which we'll continue to investigate ourselves. But, I mean, the fact that Loretta Lynch knew before she made the big announcement that, oh, you know, because of potential conflict of interest meeting Bill Clinton, I'm going to let James Comey decide that, you know, combined with all the editing of that memo that was the production of that thing began 2 months before they actually interviewed Secretary Clinton. That's a little bit of a problem. No, there's so many things that indicate a deep-seated corruption at the highest levels of the FBI. Now, again, I got to say that the vast majority of FBI folks are high integrity, and they're risking their lives to keep us safe. But at the upper level, what we're starting to uncover is just a level of corruption that needs further investigation.
So Lisa Page, FBI employee, says Loretta Lynch knows no charges will be brought against Hillary Clinton. Wouldn't it be worth speaking to former Agent Page, or I guess Agent Page, I believe she still works?
I think at the right point in time. We want to make sure we're going to try and recover those 5 months worth of email texts, because that's in a pretty crucial time between December of 2016 and May. Awful lot was going down in terms of the FBI investigation under the current administration.
So they're just lost somehow. They're blaming the technology company. How often are people's tax liens just lost by the government?
I mean, tax?
No, like, if I owe the government money, they don't just sort of lose the paperwork for that, but somehow they lost this? I mean,
if we lose them, we're in big trouble.
Exactly.
Okay, we better get a good tax attorney or just a good attorney in some way, shape, or form. They're not very forgiving if we lose evidence. When they lose it, it's just kind of, oh, you know, hey, we've had a little technology blip here, you know, don't worry about it. What we're going to worry about, we're going to keep digging.
So the idea is that they had these texts in their possession and then they lost them somehow.
Well, they were supposed to be preserved. They're saying they didn't preserve them. But the good news is, let's face it, in today's technology, texts go up to some server, some cloud. They're probably stored somewhere, which is why we'll probably be releasing, or we're going to be certainly looking at preservation of record letters to some of these technology companies.
Would it be possible to subpoena the cell phones on which they were written?
Probably don't have to do that yet. Right now, we're just going to make sure they preserve the evidence, and then we'll ask for the information.
And just in the sake,
hopefully, I won't have to subpoena it.
Yeah, hopefully you won't. In the sake of fairness, has the former Attorney General Lynch responded to this in any way?
No, she has not responded. it'd be really interesting to see what she has to say. It'd be interesting to see what Director Comey has to say as well, because I think he testified somewhat variance to what these texts reveal as well.
Amazing. Senator, thank you very much.
Did you notice that it was just a runaround? Because when Tucker Carlson asked, did you subpoena the phones? No, we didn't do that. So, I mean, what are you doing? What are they doing? You know, it seems like they're just, you know, going around in circles, you know. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.